Welcome back to the Glacier Guys podcast. I'm your host, Joey Fernandez, and I'm here with a special guest.
Hello, everyone. My name is Josh Fernandez. I am the special guest.
Yeah, my younger brother. Today's going to be a shorter episode. Going to talk a little bit of NBA trade deadline, some big news out of there today, and then a little bit of Super Bowl recap. This episode should be coming out a little bit before the Super Bowl, so you could be hearing it a little bit after. You could be hearing it a day or two before, but either way, let's start with the NBA. I think that's probably the biggest news of the day, taking over the headlines, with James Harden getting traded to the Sixers. How do you feel about that?
How do I feel about that? Honestly, I think it makes the Sixers team a lot better. I don't think any team is going to win a championship with Ben Simmons on their team, be honest. I just like I just see him as like a selfish player. Like, he's been in the league for like 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
His main skills are like defense and like driving, just super athletic. He still never developed a shot. That's something that you can work on, and like you can develop it. Like, Jordan didn't have a shot when he came in. He was really raw, developed it eventually.
Uh-huh.
I just feel like Ben Simmons, if he really wanted to be great, he'd develop a shot.
I mean, that's a tough comparison, comparing him to Michael Jordan, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah,
It's kind of tough with the spacing issue and stuff like that, and all of the antics he's had. I mean, not saying he didn't have his reasons or anything, but I don't know. It's pretty interesting though for the Nets, I think, because James Harden kind of all of a sudden just wanted out. I'm not really sure what his reasoning was, and he wasn't very loud about it, kind of like how he was in Houston, where he purposely gained weight and just kind of was treading water for like a month or two or however long it was. So that's pretty interesting. But the Nets got a haul.
Oh, they definitely did.
They got Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, and 2 first-round picks. I believe they might be protected, but either way, that's still outrageous. That's an outrageous price, especially since the Sixers were asking so much for Ben Simmons off bat. I mean, obviously their value's gone down on them, and they got James Harden for him, but that was not without giving up so many of their pieces.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I just feel like it's not like he was cheap. I mean, it's James Harden.
Yeah.
He's one of the better players in the league. Like, everyone knows this, but I mean, they still gave up like, as much as I don't like Ben Simmons and the player he is,
He's still an all-star caliber player.
Yeah, I mean, he's still great. I mean, he's going to average like 8 rebounds, like almost 8 assists. I mean,
be an all-NBA first-team defender.
Yeah, so it's obviously good value. But they're also giving up Seth Curry and who else? Drummond. Like, that's pretty good value.
With picks.
Drummond, I mean, without Embiid like being there, Drummond hasn't been that bad. So I feel like you're giving up a haul. You really are. I mean, It's Harden. I think he's overall going to make the 76ers a lot better of a team, but at the same time you're giving up so much value for him.
Yeah, I think so. But I mean, I honestly think it works out for both sides. I don't know which team I think is better at this point. I still think I go with the Nets personally, just because they got some much needed depth on their team, but they also lost their second best player, so it's a little tough. Obviously, they're downgrading with Ben Simmons, but they also gain a shooter in Seth Curry, and then they also gain some future assets, which could result in them trading for some good players also, like down the line this summer or next year. So it's very interesting for both moves. I think James Harden obviously goes to a place he wants to be. He gets to play with Danny Green. I don't know why I named him first. Joel Embiid, Tobias Harris. So that's a very solid starting lineup. I think the pick and roll with James Harden and Joel Embiid is going to be one of the most unstoppable combos in the NBA. I really don't see. I really don't know who's going to be able to defend that personally.
No, yeah. I mean, I just feel like with them, like, they had Ben Simmons and they were running whatever they were running like last year. I feel like just having that shooter and someone that can really play off the pick and roll makes their team so much better.
Yeah.
Like, the spacing and everything just way better for the 76ers now.
Yeah, it's very nice for them, I think. James Harden, you saw what he did with Clint Capella when he was on the Rockets. I feel like doing it with Joel Embiid. I mean, it's going to be a scary sight for the rest of the East. I think this puts them ahead of the Bucks for sure.
Yeah.
The Nets, in my opinion, I still got the Nets over them, but I think I'm praying for that playoff series. That playoff series would be disgusting. I don't really know. I don't know how it would play out necessarily, but man, the feuds going on in that playoff series would be nasty. I already know KD is taking this one to heart, and he's really keeping it in mind.
Well, I mean, if Kyrie's going to play the home games, it'll be a pretty good series.
Yeah, that's a bit of a tough situation. I really don't even know what to say about it, and I don't think anyone else does either.
No,
but
yeah.
But you better hope the Game 7, if it ever comes to it, is at Philly. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Moving on, Kristaps Porzingis got traded to the Wizards. I mean, it just feels weird. It feels extremely weird because if you think a few years ago, him getting traded would be a huge deal. You know what I mean? And it kind of just feels like it got swept under the radar. Like no one really cared about it. Go ahead.
My bad, but I just feel like the whole thing's overshadowed because of the big trade. I mean, it's Ben Simmons and the Harden thing. It's just being overshadowed. I don't think he's a bad player. I just feel like...
But he just never really got any better.
Yeah.
He broke out in his first year, and he really never got that much better. He kind of just stayed the same, which is really unfortunate. He easily could have been, a Jokic-level player. He just never seemed to hit that ceiling. I don't know what it was. He's done okay this year. He's played only 34 games, but he's averaged 19 and 7, not too bad. His field goal percentage probably could be a little better, but either way, I don't think he's a bad player whatsoever. I think he's still very solid. It's just, I don't know. It's just very disappointing just looking at him and looking at how his career has gone.
I think with a player like that, when you first get drafted, especially to the Knicks, it's such a big team, especially for basketball. They have such high hopes of players and everything, and then when you have a very early good start to your career, and then you just never improve from that, I feel like people just don't really gain interest in you as a player. They start losing interest in watching you play and keeping up with you. They want to see you just keep improving, and then if you don't, then it's dang, this dude's kind of disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. He's had some high points in his career. Until 2017, he was an all-star. He averaged 22 points per game. Albeit in 48 games only, but either way, he still averages almost 19 points per game for his career. It's not like he's some scrub or something like that, or he's not talented. He's still a very solid above average player, but it's just you'd want to see him hit that superstar ceiling because everyone knows it's in him, you know. Obviously it's probably not going to come now, but it just felt like it should have. Honestly, you saw the tools his first year, and he got better, obviously, but he just never seemed to progress all the way. You could say the same about Lauri Markkanen to a lesser scale, but
yeah.
You would have hoped Lauri would have even developed to what Kristaps is now, but that's a different story.
So yeah, now I gotta ask you this question. Do you think he's worth the $31 million that he's getting paid?
I think so. I think everyone in the NBA gets paid so much now that $31 million doesn't even feel like all that much. But when you go to other leagues, it's an outrageous amount. That's NFL quarterback money. But
yeah,
second and third options get paid that much money nowadays. So that's perfectly fine with me. I think you kind of have to pay a guy like that because you can't just let him walk for nothing. But he got traded for Spencer Dinwiddie, who's a very solid player, and Davis Bertans. I'm not sure exactly how to say that, but he's also a stretch 4 or a stretch 5, and he's a solid player, nothing crazy. But Spencer Dinwiddie's also solid. He's not shooting the ball all that well this year, but overall he's had a good career, and he's a valuable player for sure.
Yeah, Bertans, he's solid. He'll come up the bench. He puts up decent numbers, but nothing really crazy. Dinwiddie's definitely a very, very solid player in my opinion. I kind of like him, but I don't know. I'm not too big on the basketball here. I haven't really kept up with those teams
Yeah.
that much this year.
Not that there's much to talk
Yeah,
about
yeah,
with the
there's
Wizards
not-
and Mavericks anyway.
Yeah, just kind of Luka. That's about it for me on that
Exactly.
one.
And then the next trade we're going to talk about is Serge Ibaka getting traded to the Bucks, which is not bad at all. I don't really mind it. Marvin Bagley goes to the Pistons in the deal. Dante DiVincenzo goes to the Kings, and then the Bucks make more of a win now move, getting Serge Ibaka. I really don't mind it at all. I think the Clippers got the worst part of this, getting I'm not even gonna bother, but Rodney Hood and yeah, I can't bother saying his name, but either way, I think this is a decent trade for all sides besides the Clippers. I think I'm not really a fan of it, but they only traded Serge Ibaka, who's pretty old, so I guess it's not too bad. But either way, I think Detroit's getting a good flyer in Marvin Bagley while they're in a rebuild. Milwaukee gets Serge Ibaka while they're trying to win, keep up the title. And then Sacramento gets a somewhat young player in Dante DiVincenzo, and they get Josh Jackson and Trey Lyles also, so not too bad. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean it's nothing like too crazy, like nothing too crucial that's gonna like make their teams amazing. But I mean, moving around like some like bench pieces and like lower end players, nothing like too crazy out of the trades, but definitely some noticeable things.
Yeah. Moving on, Dennis Schroeder got traded to the Rockets. I mean, I thought it was worth mentioning. I don't think it really matters at all. He's on a 1-year deal, but yeah, I mean, good for them.
Good for them, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's all I really got for him. What I really wanted to talk about was people complaining about the Bulls not making a move. And I've seen a lot of fans complaining about this today. I mean, it's pretty normal for a fan base to be like, oh, like I want this guy, like we need this guy, like let's just do like let's get
Especially
this
Chicago.
guy. Yes, like it's the big market, and I mean, I understand, I really do, but in all reality, what did the Bulls have to trade? Like that they're willing to trade, you know what I mean? Like they have Kobe White, they have Patrick Williams, but why trade those guys? Their values aren't what they could be or what they should be. So what's the point of trading a guy for less than he's worth just to get another piece for this year? This should be a long-term plan and a plan for sustained success. Like there's no reason to sell out this year, especially with the injuries that the Bulls have, and especially with all the things going on with these teams getting so much better and all that. Wouldn't you rather wait a year to try to really compete instead of trying to go all in just to get the 3rd seed and probably lose to the Bucks in like the 2nd round? I don't see why.
Yeah, I feel like the Bulls also just made a lot of moves in the offseason. I mean,
Yeah,
a lot
exactly.
of moves. Like, I mean, we just made these moves like less than a year ago. You're gonna pick up someone and then trade them away. This not even halfway into the year, and I mean, I also see Lonzo, he's out. I mean, like, why would we if we're gonna compete and we want to win games right now? I mean, what's the point of getting rid of like a guy like Kobe White? I feel like we could maybe even use him right now with the injuries going on.
No,
Like,
yeah.
That's not even just long term, just kind of right now. Like, there's no point of getting rid of him.
Yeah, I know the Bulls. Well, I'm pretty certain that the Bulls organization and the front office told him that he was going to stay, because he had a quote the other day, talking pretty confidently, and he said, "I'll be here." So I'm assuming they told him beforehand, like, "Don't even worry, man." And I'm assuming they probably might have done the same with Patrick Williams, because they didn't really seem too keen on even letting him being like a bargaining tool. So. That's very encouraging on my side personally. I think Mark Eversley and I'm gonna say AK or Karnisovas. I can't say the first name.
Yeah.
But I think there's no reason to not trust them personally. They've done everything right so far. They've made the right draft picks, obviously, in Io DeSumo, and and they've signed the right players, even when the media doesn't think they have. Didn't think they had at the time with DeMar DeRozan, but obviously it's worked out, and I'm just going to keep trusting the process. Philadelphia.
Also, I mean, Patrick Williams, like, I really like Patrick Williams. I mean,
Yeah.
he's had his injuries. I mean, but when he comes back and he's healthy, I mean, especially if we have him for the playoffs this year,
Of course.
I think we will, but he's going to be a big difference maker.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just
big
with his
difference-
length on defense would be leaps and bounds better than what we've had.
I mean,
He is Derrick Jones Jr. on steroids, with minus probably like 10 inches of vertical, but it's all right. I mean, I think 35 plus would be more than fine. But yeah, I mean, not even like referring to his frail frame. I'm just talking about just as a player, his length and just everything he does on the court is just he does all the little things and stuff, and I think that's something the Bulls lack very heavily, especially at the 4 right now. And I think come playoff time, they're going to be a different team with Patrick Williams if he does come back. Who knows? But I'm assuming so.
we're also kind of playing on like the smaller side, like players wise, for a while. I feel like we were playing like a small like 4 guys, and then we just have Vooch out there. I feel like he'd make a difference in rebounding as well.
Vooch, yeah, for sure. It also feels like Vooch doesn't really have a backup center. That was one thing I kind of wanted, but I mean, I don't know what the backup center market really looked like that we weren't going to have to give up the house for, and I just don't know if that's worth it at this point, you know?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Because Tony Bradley's okay enough, I guess.
He's all right, but I mean, I feel like our team would be a lot better with Patrick Williams.
You'd like to do better, of course, but it's not always in the cards, and you don't really want to push yourself and lay your chips out on the table too quick, because then you're left with nothing at the end. So I'm not blaming them at all whatsoever. And Bulls fans just got to play the long game. This year's been a fun year. I mean, there's no reason why it's going to stop now. They'll be in the playoffs. Just enjoy the ride and just stay in it for the long haul. Don't give up too quick.
Oh yeah. I mean, I feel like if you're trying to just make trades happen and like force it, then you're not going to get the value that you ultimately deserve for a lot of these players. So why just force it and make a trade? Wait. I mean, there's no reason to trade at this moment. I mean, we have a very bright future.
Yeah, exactly. Learn from the 2016 White Sox. All right. Well, next up, we're going to talk some Super Bowl. Just give me your overall rundown on how you see the game playing out personally.
I see the game playing out. I mean, a lot of people are going to hate me on this, but I think the Rams are going to take it.
Okay.
I mean,
is that who you want to win?
No, I want the Bengals to win, but I think the Rams are going to take it. I think the game is just going to go like pretty much it's going to I think it has a very good possibility to be a shootout, but I also think that it has a very big possibility for the Rams to just take it by like 2 touchdowns, because I don't know if that Bengals offensive line can hold up against Aaron Donald, Von Miller, Leonard Floyd. Like, I don't think they can hold up against that. I really don't. I mean, their defense is good. I mean, they also have Jalen Ramsey. Like, I don't know if that offense can compete. I really don't.
Yeah, I think that's what it comes down to. Can they get the ball out of Joe Burrow's hands quick enough for it to not make a difference? Or can they run the ball directly at Aaron Donald so that it gets him upfield and he can't just pin his ears back all day? I mean, as I was saying in the last episode, it's extremely tough to game plan against Aaron Donald, obviously, and he's the best player in the NFL easily. And what you have to do is you have to run the ball at him. And it sounds dumb, but you have to run the ball at him, because he's going to be getting upfield hoping for a pass rush, and then that opens up extra holes in the offensive line. But you can't get away from that game plan, which is also a big key for the Bengals defense, because if they come out and let up some like a couple touchdown drives right off the bat, and if the Bengals struggle off rip, then playing from behind and having to pass the ball 75% of the time, that's not a recipe for success against this team. You're going to have to get the run game established and hope that your defense can get some stops. Like, it's going to be tough. And I probably also agree with the Rams winning, and I have a bad feeling that's going to be by 10+ also. But it's all going to come down to Matthew Stafford also. Can he step up in the big game, and can he hold himself back from that one big turnover that he seems to have most games, even when he wins. Because if you look at the 49ers game, there were some. Did he have a turnover in that game?
Yeah, I think he had a pick six, maybe. No, maybe he definitely had a turnover, maybe a couple. Yeah, I mean, I really.
The interception.
Yeah.
No, well, the dropped interception. That's what I'm remembering.
Oh, yeah.
Remember the dropped interception with Jaquiski Tart?
I think he might have had like an actual turnover.
No,
as well,
but that's the Matthew Stafford play. He has one of those plays in big games. It feels like every time where it's like, Matthew, what are you doing? Like, you had a perfect game all day, or just a good enough game, and you just that one play, that one little play. If you can eliminate that one play, you're elite.
Well, I mean, I feel like that last game. I think overall, yes, but I think the last game he was struggling on some of those passes.
Yeah,
But I just feel like the Rams, like their overall offense, they're
it
just
feels a little
so
clunky sometimes, but also when they're clicking, they're clicking.
Yeah, they're well rounded. I think their defense is so good, but then you look at their offense, you're like, okay, but what can't they do in that situation as well? Like, I mean, their wide receiver core is pretty good, obviously, with Cooper Kupp and Odell. And even Van Jefferson's not that bad.
No, he's pretty good.
I mean, they're overall a pretty good team. They really are. And I just feel like the Bengals, they're good. They're on fire right now. They're the streak. But can their streak hold up against a well-rounded team, especially one that has a crazy defensive line? Like, the way I think of it is like the Titans. Like, the Titans really got pressure on the Bengals that game. Honestly,
And it didn't phase Joe at all.
I mean,
which is ridiculous.
But
by
he
the
was
way. 9
in,
sacks.
Yeah, but like, is that gonna work against the Rams? Like, I feel
it's
like
a very unsustainable way of winning. I agree.
Yeah, because I feel like the Rams, like, yeah, they're gonna have that defense, but it's possible they get that 9 sacks. But the difference between the Rams and the Titans, I think the Rams can move the ball downfield.
Yes, the Titans can't play from behind, especially with the Derrick Henry offense, where you have to run the ball 20 times to be able to get any chunk plays. I think that's a lot different than the Rams. They're going to try to establish the run in the first few plays. I mean, they're going to run the ball as long as they can, and then they're going to hit you with the play action, and Cooper Kupp's going to be open for 10 yards guaranteed, probably 15 times this game. I mean, I'd be shocked if he doesn't get 11 targets at least. So, I mean, he's going to be just sitting there in the slot wide open the whole game. It's ridiculous at this point, but it's just inevitable. But I think it really just comes down to the turnovers. I think the turnover battle is going to be huge. Whether or not Joe can stay up on his feet and keep getting up while he's getting hit, that's going to be a big thing also. So, I mean, it's going to be a good game, I think. Well, hopefully, that's what I'm rooting for. I'm rooting for the Bengals to win, but I think the Rams win. I predicted 28-21 in the last podcast, but it's my podcast. I'm going to change my prediction. I'm going to go with 31-17 Rams.
I think if I'm doing a prediction, I'm probably gonna do like be 31-23 Rams.
23.
I think
That's weird, but I get 23 is possible. It's just a weird score.
31-23 is my prediction.
Okay.
I just feel like, all right, I'm gonna call this ahead of time. Odell is gonna have at least one crazy pass that's gonna at least be like 40-50 yards in the Super Bowl.
Okay. The lights just turned off. It's okay.
Yeah, but I just feel like he's having one big play downfield. I just remember it's going to be a huge highlight play, and everyone's going to remember
a touchdown.
It. Yeah,
I was going to say Odell's going to score a touchdown. Do you have any other hot takes you want to go with? Put it on air before the Super Bowl.
Put it on air. I think Jamar Chase is going to have a lot of targets, but I don't think he's going to have as many yards as T. Higgins in this game. I don't know why, but I feel like they're really
probably going to get shadowed by Jalen Ramsey.
That's kind of why I think that he isn't going to have a big play, but I think Odell will have a big play throughout the game somewhere.
Okay. I also like Van Jefferson touchdown, by the way.
Yeah.
If there's any betting men out there. Also, I'll give a hot take. Evan McPherson misses a kick in this game.
Ooh, I don't know.
He's due. Everyone's human. I actually like him a lot. He's a Gator, but I just gotta say that's my hot take. I'm not rooting for it. I don't want it to happen, but that's a hot take. Take it how you want it. I mean, that's all I got to say. Do you have anything else to say before we sign off?
Yeah. Justin Tucker. I mean,
What do you mean, Justin Tucker?
Well, he's human, but like Evan McPherson can be like one of those guys who just doesn't
but Justin
miss.
Tucker misses every once in a while
But
too.
in the playoffs,
I mean,
I think he's which players?
he's missed in the playoffs.
Or
I
maybe
believe.
Robbie Gould. Robbie Gould hasn't missed in the playoffs ever.
Yeah, but
That's who it was.
Still, it's football's football. Everyone misses.
I mean, I don't know if I could talk about a couple prop bets right now. If you're gonna do
Gatorade shower orange.
yeah, Gatorade shower orange.
Trust me.
I would say if it's a female, I don't know
As
who's
long as the
singing
Bengals win, obviously.
I don't know who's singing the national anthem, but if it's like some like female singer with a very like good voice, I would go over on length. And then what was the other one I was gonna do? Honestly, forgot it. Whatever.
All right.
But
Well,
couple prop bets there.
all right. Well, that's all I got for today. Sorry. You can access the podcast on the library website, SoundCloud, YouTube, Apple Podcast. See you next week, and peace.
Peace.